Hello and welcome to the Melissa Cardinals Network. This is Trey Graham along with Cardinals head football coach Matt Nally, joining you from the Dugout Sports Grill at the Z-Plex. This is the Cardinals Scoreboard Show. We join you every week to talk about the Melissa Cardinals football program. And Coach Nally, you told us to keep going, so it was 5 in a row, then 6 and 7 and 8. How's 9 in a row feel?
You know, every week it gets more and more fun. You know, winning is extremely fun. Obviously, not just for the community and the kids and whatnot, but the Nally house appreciates a Cardinal win as well.
Yeah, so. 9 and 2. Melissa comes off a big victory over the North Dallas Bulldogs. The final score was 73-20. We're going to talk about our offensive and defensive players of the game from that big win in a few minutes. And, of course, we've got a bunch of stats and trivia for you as we go along. But there's a promise that we make on this program that they get insights into the Melissa Cardinals football program that they get nowhere else. Something that you were involved in this week called the All-District Meeting. So remember, Melissa is in District 7 4A Division 1. And so all the coaches get together to vote on all-district teams.
Yes, sir.
You hear this guy was the all-district outside linebacker, the all-district punter. Well, you wonder, how did they get that honor? Tell us.
Yeah, so the way it works is we won the district. So whoever wins the district has to host the meeting. So we won the district, so we hosted at the Championship Center last Wednesday. And, you know, you meet, we met in the film room. And
showed off your new digs.
Yeah, heck yeah, we did. Heck yeah. And you go through, so you have superlatives, then you have first team offense, first team defense, second team offense, second team defense, and then you have honorable mention.
So superlatives, that's like offensive player of the year.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
So what you do is it doesn't matter if it's a superlative or if it's, you know, second team punter. What you do is you go around the room and everyone nominates. So, you know, whatever the case may be, and you don't have to nominate, but normally everyone puts somebody up.
There's 7 teams in the district.
Correct.
So is it the 7 head coaches?
Correct.
Is anybody else in the room?
Yeah, I mean, most people bring either most or half of their staff that comes with.
Okay.
At least your coordinators.
So it's a pretty big group.
Yes.
All right.
And
they all get to nominate someone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, you know, you have 7 opportunities, or everyone has 7 chances to put up a candidate to be nominated to potentially get every award that we got. So you put up a superlative, or a first team or a second team or whatever the case may be. So let's just throw this out here and just say we're going for first team running back. So you go through, Anna, do you have somebody? Boom, you know, Argyle, boom, you know, and you keep going through,
Obviously limited to only the teams and players in your district.
Correct. So once all the candidates that are nominated have been put up there, and we have a whiteboard that it goes up on, and it's not like a rocket science complicated situation, but you have a discussion. So like for me personally, just say, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to nominate Trey Graham for first team running back. Trey Graham was number 1. His jersey number was number 1, and in district play he had, 97 carries for 1,002 yards and 12 touchdowns. And then it goes to the next guy, and the next guy's like, well, I'm going to nominate
so you and your staff better do your homework beforehand.
Right.
To bring your argument to the table.
Right. Well, and another thing too is you want your staff with you, because you can be like, I don't remember that guy. And your staff can say, oh, yeah, that's this guy, or he did this, or whatever the case may be. Because you do want it to be, I don't want to use the word all-star because that's not the truth, but you want it to be, a genuine, legit.
Realistic, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why, most people bring their staff is because of that. And then I don't get to vote. So if I put one of my kids up, so
you don't get to vote for Melissa players.
I don't get to vote for Melissa players.
But you do for others.
Correct.
Can you nominate a Melissa player?
Yes. So I nominate all Melissa players, but I cannot vote for a Melissa kid.
Can you nominate someone else?
No.
An Argyle player or Anna player?
No, sir. I mean,
so
obviously
everybody's arguing only for their own team.
Correct.
And then everybody else votes.
Correct.
So 6 votes because you have to sit out your own.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Correct. So it goes around the room, and you have its ballot. I mean, you have to write it on a secret ballot. and hand it in, and there's a guy counting the ballot, and there's two guys. Yeah. So
or the mayonnaise jar that was the Johnny Carson show
yeah.
or something. Yeah. Okay.
So you have. I mean, it's a deal. Like you go to one guy, the one guy counts it, he gives it to the next guy makes sure it's right.
And who are these guys?
Well, for us, the first guy was Coach Williams, and the second guy was Coach Spann.
Okay.
So
you picked honest guys.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So and then once Coach Spann agrees that is the deal, he says Trey Graham won. Boom. So I mean that's how it works. So a lot of people think that like we have control over it. That we don't have control over any Melissa kid. Getting any all-district honors, any all-state honors, anything like that. That's not how it works. All we can do is nominate. And then people have to vote after we nominate. And the crazy thing is that coach that one day might not think that, that nominee is a good person. Like, let's just say Anna didn't like us, or that coach at Anna was in a bad mood or whatever, and he might not vote for a Melissa kid either. You know what I'm saying? So
you have to vote?
You have to vote.
Okay. So it could be 6 votes for one guy, unanimous.
Correct.
What if it's 6 guys with 1 vote?
So that's a good point. The thing is I've never been in that situation before. There's been a lot of times where you might have one guy with 3 and the other guy with 3, and at that point in time we just make it and move on with life. And I've been in situations where it's been 4 and 2, and it is cut and dry. 4, see ya. I've been in parts,
debate, no appeals.
No, and I've been in situations where it's been 4 or 3, 2, and 1. Don't care. We're moving on with life. So, but yeah, the ones I would like to ask that question if that's ever happened, because that is kind of neat. If that did happen, that was kind of neat.
So how many of these votes are there? There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Because it's 22, right. 11 on offense, 11 on defense, plus special teams.
Right, it's a
lot.
Plus
superlatives, plus second team.
It's a lot. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you how many there are.
That's 100 or more.
Right, it's a lot.
Okay, so if Mr. A is first team running back, how do you figure out who's going to be second team running back?
So normally what we do is so let's just say there's 6 guys up there, and those 6 guys, let's say Trey Graham wins. So Trey Graham, he's the first team running back. Well, you still have 5 guys up there.
So it's the second vote getter?
No, we'll re-vote.
Okay.
So now you got to go through the whole process again, and okay, Anna, do you have anybody up for second team all district running back? Yes, blah blah blah.
So those 5 guys get to stay around?
They stay on
the board. Or they
have
to be renominated?
No, they stay on the board.
Okay. Can you nominate more than that?
Yes, you can.
This does take a long time.
Yes, it took us 2.5 hours the other day.
Okay.
To do it. So it can be tedious, and there's some times you're just like, oh my gosh, let's just get this over with. But there's, especially when you start to get to the ones where, like the superlatives, the first teams and the second teams, and the honorable mentions those are hard, but you want to kind of really make sure those are good. But you'll come in and it'll be like you will nominate 2 kids, and you're like, all right, cool. Well, let's just take those 2. Nope, we have to vote. And you're like, oh. So you go through that whole thing, which it is what it is. So it's a fun process, but it is a lengthy process as well.
So you're learning on the Cardinal Scoreboard show how all district teams are voted on. Again, you nominate your own players and you argue for them, but when the vote happens, you can't vote for your own players.
Correct.
So once the results are all finished, who records everything? How do you present it? You tell the AP, you tell Dave Campbell's or the Dallas Morning News. How do the results get released?
So the rule is no one can know until everyone in the district is done playing football.
Okay.
So you cannot release anything, and I don't know why, but you cannot release anything, not to the kids, not to anybody, until it is over with.
So Mr. B, Mr. C is the all-district running back, but he doesn't know, and you're not going to tell him.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So how does it get released?
So the district champion releases it to the Dallas Morning News when everyone's done, and then every other school, and to Texas High School Coaches Association, and then every other school releases it to their local paper. So that's how it gets done.
But if a district, for example, District 8, your district, District 7, went 4-0 in the first round of the playoffs, they're done.
Right.
So they can release theirs now?
Correct.
But yours, potentially, hopefully, is going to be playing for weeks.
Right.
So theirs is out in public and yours cannot be.
Correct. It's just like last year, Kaufman got beat in the first round and Argyle made it all the way to the state championship. We could not release it until after Argyle was out. So, I mean, like I said, I don't know why that is. And I've been doing this for 19 years, and I've asked probably 19 years in a row, like, why. I don't know if it's something like, they did a long time ago or whatever, and it's just traditionally has stayed. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but that's the rule. So we're going to follow the rules.
You are watching the Melissa Cardinals Network. This is Trey Graham and Matt Nally. We're joining you from the Dugout Sports Grill at the Z-Plex. We invite you and your family to come enjoy the restaurant. Go to dugoutsportsgrill.com to find out more. In just a moment, you're going to get to hear about our offensive and defensive players of the week. So let's go ahead and tell their names, Coach Nally, so you can brag about them. First of all, our offensive player of the week that you're going to introduce and bring to the table in just a moment. James Gadson, senior running back, 5 carries, 184 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So I always ask you to brag on these players, and I'm going to let you brag on James, but if I'm James, I'm going to say, why did I get more than 5 carries?
Right. So, you know what, when I saw that stat the first time, and you're a wing T QB, so you'll appreciate this. I was actually 3 of 4, 184 yards, and 184 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And 2 touchdowns. It just made me think, isn't that crazy? You can produce so much on so little, like just touches.
Sure.
So make a long story short. First and foremost, 5 carries, 184 yards, and I think James would say the same thing. There's probably 3 of those runs where James didn't get touched.
I'm going to ask him about the track speed.
Yeah, he didn't get touched. So that's kudos to those kids up front. But also, once James, and this has been James since I've known him, once James gets to the second level, he's got a chance to change the scoreboard.
Sure.
Just because of the fact that he has so much explosiveness when it comes to that point. He does not have a second, third, fourth, fifth gear. It's first gear, then fifth gear. He's very hard to tackle, very strong young man. He's super athletic. Like, he can do backflips and do all this stuff, super athletic. But he's extremely deserving of that award. And like I said, I think the world of him, and I think he's a really good football player, but he's a better person.
So who's the fastest guy on the team?
Ooh-wee, that would be a debate.
James?
That would be a debate.
I think James will vote for James.
Yeah, that would be
Javon? Who's Javon going to vote for?
Javon. There'd be a huge debate there.
So is there like a top 5?
I think so. I think so.
So who's in that?
I would say probably James and Ashton. Javon's going to be up there. Brantley is going to be in there before he tore his ACL. Matt Sanford is really fast. That's the crazy thing, is a lot of people don't know how fast he is. Walker Overman is blazing fast. Oh my gosh. I could continue to go on and on and on.
We'll ask James who he votes for.
Yeah, James. Yeah.
Okay. And our defensive player of the week was junior linebacker Dalton Whitwer. He had a pick 6, an interception return for a touchdown, and unfortunately, Mr. Whitwer was also injured in the game, so he is not going to be with us in person. In just a minute, you're going to get to see his big play, but because Dalton can't be here, let's let you brag on him for a minute.
Once again, such a great person. He is a great teammate. He's going to do everything you ask him to do. He's extremely coachable. The one thing I love about Dalton is Dalton's going to give you everything he's got, every play. Not just that, if you're in the film room or if you're in the weight room or whatever the case may be, he's going to give full effort. And he is, which exemplifies what a Melissa Cardinal is supposed to be. So, obviously, super proud of him and what he has accomplished this year, and just super excited about him getting over his injury and coming back and being better than ever.
So we do want to say congratulations to James Gadson for being our Offensive Player of the Week and Dalton Whitwer for being our Defensive Player of the Week. I do want to invite you and your family to join us in our church home. Come to First Melissa on Sunday mornings in person, 9 a.m. or 10:15 a.m. Join us online for church services, 11:30 a.m. every Sunday morning. You'll find out all that information at firstmelissa.com. We'd love to see you in person. We're going to go to this break now, and you're going to get to see the Pick Six by Dalton Whitwer, and we'll come back right after this. Welcome back to the Cardinals Scoreboard Show. This is Trey Graham joining you from the Dugout Sports Grill at the Z-Plex. You just saw the interception return for a touchdown by Dalton Whitwer, the linebacker who was our Defensive Player of the Week. And now you get to meet our Offensive Player of the Week, senior running back James Gadson. We mentioned 5 carries, 184 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, you heard my interview with Coach Nally a minute ago, and I asked you before the camera started rolling why you didn't get more carries, and your answer was?
That's all I really needed.
That's all I needed. That's fair. I think that's fair. So, big game for you. Congratulations on being the Offensive Player of the Week.
Thank you.
So let's settle this. I asked Coach Nally who's the fastest guy on the team. He was real political in his answer.
Yeah.
You know that,
Yeah,
right?
he has to be.
He has to be. So, who's the fastest guy on the team?
It's kind of a tie, 3-way tie, but I'd say Walker. He is the lightning fast. Got to give it to him.
Really?
When he takes off,
Okay.
he ain't catching him. Gotta
And
give it to him.
who's else up there?
Ashton, then I'd say me, then Javon, and then Parrish.
Oh, Parrish Adger.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you're placing yourself third.
Yes, I'll
You're
place
just playing
myself
humble?
first. Nah, I'll be honest. Ashton and Walker got me beat.
Okay. All right. Talk about the big game. It was fun, I assume.
That game was fun, honestly. It was fun. It was fun
And
to play.
getting in the end zone a couple times is fun.
Yes, especially that.
I bet you need to brag on the O-line a little bit.
The O-line, they gave me the perfect holes to hit. Honestly, they've been doing their stuff all week, and honestly, that's all I got is praise for them.
So what is your role on the team? You're a senior, and so you're called on to be a leader. Talk about your role.
My role really is to do all I can every time I touch the field. If that's on special teams, if that is on going as defensive or offensive, doesn't matter what I'm at. As long as I go in there and give them my all, then I help the team at the end of the day.
And how long have you lived in Melissa?
4 years now.
Okay. So you've grown up watching the team.
Yeah.
Okay. What's it like to be the guy now?
It feels good. I'm not gonna lie, it feels really good being able to play, be able to help the team at anything that they need. It feels really good.
Brothers and sisters?
I got 3 brothers, 1 sister.
Okay. Where are you in the lineup?
Second oldest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite class in school?
My favorite class would be English.
Okay. Who's the teacher?
Coach Arvin.
Okay.
He's
Why
chill.
is that favorite?
He's chill. He's laid back. Sometimes if I want to take a nap, he lets me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You just said that on camera. You know?
Hey, hey. But it's as long as we turn in our work, you know.
I understand.
So, and it's right after football practice, so it's amazing. It's
Okay.
very much amazing to take that nap.
All right.
And he honestly helps me out and helps me understand English a lot.
Good. What do you want to do after high school?
After high school, I want to tour the world for about 2 years, and then I want to become a marine biologist.
Wow, that's a pretty specific 2 years, huh?
Mhm.
Where do you want to go?
I want to go to California for 2 months. Then I want to go to
You
Florida.
got a real plan.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Then I want to go to Florida for about 2 months. And
You know
then
they're not next to each other, right?
oh yeah, I know,
Okay,
I
okay.
know. And then I want to go back to Japan. And then I want to go.
You've been to Japan before?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I want to go to France, Germany, Egypt, and then back to Japan, and then back down to Texas.
Wow. And why all those places? Or what made you put this plan together?
Well, I've always loved to travel when I was a kid. Been the one thing I want to do since I can remember, honestly. And those places, I'm a lot of fun in California and in Japan, so those are my first and last stops. And the other places, they're just kind of like, I've always wanted to go to France, see the Eiffel Tower. I've always wanted to learn French, actually. And then Egypt, I've always wanted to see like the pyramids and stuff like that. So I think stuff like that plays a big part. And then just being able to see the world, because it's not just this one little place
There's
we live on.
something
Like,
outside of Melissa, Texas.
Yeah, there's always something outside of where you live.
Sure.
So I want to see new things, experience new things, and definitely eat a bunch of new food.
And so why not geography, your favorite class?
That was my favorite class freshman year.
Okay.
But because I don't have a geography class this year, I have to put English.
Okay. And then why marine biologist?
I love the ocean, everything about it, all the animals, just the mysteries of it, and I want to be able to discover new life in the ocean.
It's very impressive. Congratulations on that. Congratulations on being the Offensive Player of the Week.
Thank you.
James Gadson, senior running back, an impressive young man with a plan for his future. You're watching the Cardinal Scoreboard Show. We'll be back in just a moment to talk more with Coach Nally. Welcome back to the Cardinal Scoreboard Show, joining you from the Dugout Sports Grill at the Z-Plex. Hope you and your family will come enjoy the restaurant. Mike Dembski, the general manager, is our host, and this is our weekly chat with Cardinals head football coach Matt Nally. And we've already mentioned that Dalton Whitwer was our defensive player of the week, James Gadson, our offensive player of the week. He's also the interviewee of the week.
Yeah, he did a great job. He did a really good job.
That's a man with a plan.
Right, right.
That's pretty impressive. All right, let's talk about the big win last Thursday night, a home game, playoff victory, first round over the North Dallas Bulldogs. Final score 73-20. That was the most points scored by the Cardinals in the Matt Nally era.
All right.
Over the 70 points you scored a few weeks ago over Ranceview.
Right.
Most points ever scored by the Cardinals in the playoffs.
Dang right.
Second most points ever scored by Melissa. Behind, remember, Coach Gagrin beating down that private school. 75 points back in 2004. So 73-20 was the final score. Total yards, you gave up 241. But you guys passed and ran for 536.
That's pretty good.
Double them up.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay. Talk about the running clock situation. We've discussed it in the past. You've told us how it works, that both coaches have to agree, and the officials are like the mediator in between. You didn't come out in the second half. You were up by 30 at halftime. It wasn't immediately running clock. When did you bring up the subject?
Well, when going into, I don't remember the end of the first quarter. I don't remember the score, but going into that game, obviously the objective was to win, but the objective was also, Sam didn't play against the Kaufman Lions, so we just wanted to make sure that he was going to get some dust and rust, taken off of him. So I wanted him to get at least 5 or 6 possessions in the game. So in that first half, I think we counted he had like 3 possessions or something like that, because we had 2 pick sixes and things like that. So
Dalton Whitwer and Jacob Fields.
Right,
Yes.
right. And so, and they did a really good job, I thought, of, they did a good job of game planning us and whatnot, and understanding, their situation in the regards of, we just had better players than they did. It wasn't the scheme or anything. We just had better players, and they did a good job of scheming our players. So, make a long story short, coming out of the second half, the plan was to build depth as well. So in the first half, I wanted to sprinkle some kids in the first half on the offense and the defensive side, just so I could build some depth with quote unquote ones. So I'm sprinkling some kids in with the ones. So then going into the second half, I don't remember the score or anything like that, but I know that Sam probably got, I'm going to say 2 to 4 more possessions, and I was done. I told the offensive guys I want him out. I want him out, and we started sprinkling some kids in. I don't remember the exact score at that time. It was in the middle of the third quarter, though, when I approached the official and said, you want to run the clock? He went over to the coach. The coach came back and said, no. Okay, yes, sir. And I believe we started running it at maybe at the end of the third or the beginning of the fourth.
Yes, late third.
But once again, it's got to be both coaches in agreement. And he did not want to run the clock when I asked. And probably, I don't know, maybe a touchdown or two more, then he was like, I want to run the clock.
So that was the first round victory, called the by-district round in UIL lingo. Victory over North Dallas, 73-20, which moved you to the second round of the playoffs, which you call the area round. You are playing Midlothian Heritage. Mm-hmm. Now, it's my job to do all this trivia for you.
Yeah, dang right.
So this is the second time officially that Melissa has ever played a team twice in one season.
Okay.
But I say officially because it's not the second time actually. Mm-hmm. Because last year you officially played Paris twice.
Right.
But you didn't play Paris twice.
Right.
Okay? Right. So last year when you played Paris 2 times, you only played them 1 time.
Right.
Because Paris had to forfeit due to COVID in the 2020 season.
Right.
So it was a Cardinals 2-0 victory officially. It was a forfeit in the 2020 district schedule.
Right.
Then unfortunately they were the winners in the playoff game.
Right.
So you officially played a team twice last year, but really didn't. So this will be the first time you've ever actually played a team twice in one season. Melissa won back on September the 17th. The score was 48-28. And I'll give you a few stats. Nigel Smith had 3 sacks.
Dang right.
Dalton Whitwer had an interception. You outgained them, total yards 610 to 382.
Go Cards.
Sam Finnegan had an average night, 21 of 30, 390 yards, 4 touchdowns and an interception. Ashton Mitchell-Johnson had his average night, 19 carries, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Now, the Midlothian Heritage quarterback, good player.
He's good.
Caden Brown. Mm-hmm. He threw for 257 yards, passed for 2 touchdowns, ran for 1.
Yes, sir.
So you did have a big victory, 48-28. So the big question is, what is it like? What's the difference in actually playing a team 2 times in 1 year?
First and foremost, I always think it's really hard to play a team twice, and I think it's hard on both
so you've
sides.
Done this before in other
yes,
schools?
Sir. And I think it's hard because the team that loses, you have that seed of doubt in your brain, and then the team that wins the first time has that seed of maybe overconfidence. So it is our, action now not to be overconfident going into the game. I do believe that it helps us out because we played them such a long time ago. Excuse me.
2 months, Coach.
Right. But I do believe that helps out in the regard of, maybe if it was, I don't know, maybe like an Anna or something like that they were kind of still in our memory. That maybe that hurts us a little bit. But our prep week, which started on Friday, and still going on today, you wouldn't think that we're playing the same team twice.
So you're starting over.
Starting over.
Are you watching the film of the last game?
We have in the playoffs. It's a little different. So in the playoffs, you can request all games. So that's what we did, and that's what they did. We requested
all of their games.
All of their games.
So not just your
correct
game against them.
Correct.
Okay.
So we have every game they played after us, and they have every game that we played after.
So
them.
you play this little mind game. We ran the ball a lot then, so we have to throw the ball a lot now. Or they did this a lot, so now they're going to not do that. Is this a little mind game?
Yeah, not really. We base everything off of what we call the best 11 and the worst 11. And 11 is not 11 players. 11 is who is their best player, who is their worst player. And that's how we scheme on the offensive side of the ball. And once again, defensively, we scheme based off of formation. So, and these guys do an unbelievable job of shifting and motioning and giving us a ton of looks and getting their kids out in space. We were extremely fortunate last time. As you can see those stats, we really dominated the line of scrimmage. But when it comes to mind games, this is the playoffs. So like a lot of people, you can outthink yourself anytime. But in the playoffs, a lot of people outthink themselves a lot. So, on Friday, actually this happened Thursday night in the game when Dalton got injured, we were already trying to figure out what this week was going to look like defensively. So, and I know that's probably not the right thing to do, but it was 40-7, and me and the defensive coordinator already having discussions about what's going on. So, and really the discussion was, well, this is what we've been doing. This is who we are. We're going to continue to be who we are. We're not going to add or try to reinvent the wheel or whatever the case may be. And offensively, it's the same thing. I mean, we're not going to reinvent the wheel for a playoff game. And that a lot of people do that. A lot of people say, hey, we're going to do X. Well, they didn't see this last time. We're going to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and that usually gets you beat. So,
on a similar question, are you saving anything? The trick play where you don't want to show it yet because everybody's going to watch our film, or we don't want to put James Gadson out there because they're going to see he's a track star? Are you holding anything back?
I think you always do that. I think you always do that. Like, obviously, if it's in your back pocket when you have it, and there's certain concepts and schemes that we practice that we've been practicing for 2 months and nobody's seen it. But at the end of the day, you don't want to show your hand unless you have to. So,
so bottom line, it's just a new opponent, new game.
Right.
We're not enjoying or lamenting the past. It's just
Correct.
a new game.
And you have to have that conversation with the kids because kids.
They know they won.
Right. Kids know they won. They know that whole process and whatnot. So you have to have the conversation with complacency, and people can be that way, And the coaching meeting I had on Saturday is we won the game by 3 touchdowns, but halftime it's 28-21, and not just that, but I mean it was a ball game. I think Whitwer's interception kind of sealed it, but make a long story short, I mean, being complacent in anything that you do, in a game or whatever the case may be in life, you're always going to regret it. So we've had those conversations with the kids, and not just that, I think kids are resilient to the thought of you don't know what could happen. And, that quarterback is really, really good. And to me, that team has gotten better each week, just like we have. We've gotten better each week. They have gotten better each week. I mean, they had Stephen Hill on their heels. They played La Vega pretty tough. So, I mean, it's going to be a good game for us.
And I imagine if you are a Midlothian Heritage coach, you're figuring out how to block Nigel Smith right now.
Yeah, I think, our opponent next week, and then our opponent the week after that, and then the opponent the week after that, they're all trying to figure out how to do it. I mean, he's tough. I'm glad he's on our team.
Yeah. Cardinals play 7:30 p.m. this Friday at South Lake Carroll High School, the Dragons Stadium. 7 o'clock pregame show on the Melissa Cardinals Network. Radio broadcast is confirmed. We're still waiting for permission from the UIL to do a video live stream, so make sure you follow the Melissa Cardinals Network on Facebook. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel for Melissa ISD. The Facebook page will tell you all the broadcast information, whether or not there's going to be a video live stream. There will be an audio broadcast. The winner of this game moves on to the third round of the playoffs to play the winner of Kaufman, our district opponent, versus La Vega. And before we finish, I'd mentioned it earlier, but your District 7 played District 8 in this by-district round. District 7, 4-0.
Right.
Surprised or not?
No. Our district, in my opinion, is the toughest district in the state. At one point in time, you had 4 teams that are now on the playoffs, were all rotating in and out of the top 10. So, and us and Argyle have been up there for the last 6 weeks, but Paris and Kaufman have always rotated in and out. There's not a tougher district than District 7, and there's not a tougher region than Region 2. So, but no, sir. It pretty much landed the way I thought it would land.
Your Cardinals are 9-2 on a 9-game winning streak. Playoff round number 2 this Friday, 7:30 kickoff against Midlothian Heritage in South Lake at Dragon Stadium. Hope you'll be by the channel. Remember to go to firstmelissa.com to find out more about our church home. Thanks to the Dugout Sports Grill for letting us be here tonight. We will see you next time. You are watching the Melissa Cardinals Network.